This is the Hennessey Venom GT. Like a latter-day Shelby Cobra, the Venom GT takes the best of British and endows it with pure American muscle. At its core is an aluminium tub donated by a Lotus, but everything forward of the windscreen and aft of the rear bulkhead is pure Hennessey. Its creator, John Hennessey, believes he's built the fastest supercar the world has ever seen. Better still, he's about to prove it with an attempt on the 0 to 300 km an hour Guinness World Record, which is currently held by the Koenigsegg Agera R. There can be few better places to go really fast than Ellington Field near Houston in Texas. Home to NASA's astronaut training program, it has a perfectly smooth 1.6 mile runway and the atmosphere crackles with the right stuff. It's a bit busy, but I thought I'd take you around the car just so you can see what a Hennessey Venom's all about. Obviously there's some very familiar elements. It looks like it is a crazy Lotus Exige really in a lot of respects. The tub is the only real thing that remains Lotus. The guys at Hennessey buy a Lotus and they actually send it to a company called Delta Motorsports in Northampton, which is very close to Evo's home. They prepare the tub and the car for everything else to happen, and then that's shipped back to the States where Hennessey works its magic and fits their absolutely monstrous engine, the transmission, the suspension, the brakes and the bodywork, and then the car is done and dusted. But if you look in here, it's an absolute beast. It's a 7-litre Chevrolet motor, twin turbos as you can see in the back here. What do they reckon it's running now? Because it was 12.
Well, we dynoed it yesterday.
Yeah.
And on the dyno, despite spinning the tires at 150 miles an hour, it dynoed 995 at the wheels. And that was that's in fourth gear.
Yeah.
Fourth gear goes up to 180. So it broke the tires loose at 150.
And it still had plenty to go.
Dynoed 995 at 150 and still had 2,000 RPM to go.
So what do they reckon it is at the...
1,100 at the tire right now. This should be fun, right?
So what's that of the flywheel? Do they
1250 to 1,300. Enough. It's enough.
Yeah, it's sufficient.
Like what do they say with the Rolls Royce? Horsepower ample.
Yeah,
That's
this is more than ample, isn't it? Inside is very familiar to anyone who's been in an S2 Exige or a lease. I think what you see through the windscreen probably moves a little bit quicker than you'd be used to. The gearbox manual, obviously, it's a 6-speed box, and it's the 6-speed box from the Ford GT, which is a really very, very good box, really sweet shifting box. So that bodes very well for what the car will be like to drive on the road, as well as just punching through the gears to try and set their records today. It actually looks a lot better, much, much better than I thought it was going to look. In some pictures it just looks like an Exige in a hall of mirrors, and it still has that stretched look, but when you know how fast the car is supposed to go, Hennessey reckon it would do, if they could find somewhere long enough, 270 miles an hour, and it does look like the speed has kind of stretched the car, but it's got so much presence, and I actually like the fact that it is a familiar car. It's a weird mashup of familiar cues, but then you see it from the rear and it's so wide and there's so much rubber on the road. It's a very, very cool car. With the man from Guinness ready and waiting, and test driver John Kiewitz putting some extra heat in the Venom GT's tyres, Hennessey's moment of truth has arrived.
We're pretty much, either we've done the job right and we're ready to go, or we haven't, and we'll find out here soon enough.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
As John Hennessey predicted, his car is gobsmackingly fast. Traction limited to 120 miles an hour, it builds big speed like nothing you've ever seen before. On its best run, the Venom hits 100 miles an hour in 5.9 seconds, 150 in 9.3, and 200 in a head-scrambling 14.5 seconds. Crucially, it achieves a two-way 0 to 300 km/h average of 13.6 seconds, comfortably setting a new Guinness World Record. Good to his word, while the record car is packed away, Hennessey hands over the keys to a mechanically identical Venom GT Spider and says go play. Less than a mile later, I'm doing over 200 miles an hour. As the sun sets and my thumping heart rate returns to normal, I'm left to ponder what this insanely fast car will feel like on the road.